The UN envoy to Libya has urged a rapid, complete handover of power to a unity government that arrived in Tripoli a week ago. Libya is also being called upon by the United Nations to hold a vote on whether to approve the UN-backed government of national accord. The Prime Minister of Tripoli's self-declared National Salvation Government issued a statement on Wednesday calling on his ministers to stay in place. There is a contradiction to a statement made on Tuesday, saying the National Salvation Government was stepping down. UN envoy to Libya Martin Kobler also warned that the fragile peace in the city may not hold if the new government is unable to deliver.
The first one is, yes, the House of Representatives has to continue to arrange a meeting with all members of the parliament in order to endorse the government. It is very clear. The legitimacy, the final legitimacy for the government of national accord comes from Tobruk. It comes from the parliament. But the second decision of them was also because as long as this is not possible, the train moves. And they encourage the Presidency Council, once security permits, to go into Tripoli to ensure the immediate, orderly and peaceful transfer of power.
Let's get some analysis and insights on the political situation in Libya. Ziad Akal is a researcher at the Ahram Center for Political Studies. He's joining me now live from our Cairo studios. Ziad, it is now a week, though, since the UN-backed Presidential Council landed in Tripoli, and yet it is yet to win over the support from the rival parallel governments there. Do you expect that this situation is likely to change?
Well, I think that it is actually too soon to assume that the situation has already changed. I mean, the Presidential Council did enter Tripoli, but I just think that it is not time yet to overanalyze its entrance into Tripoli. It is in Tripoli, it's present there, but its actual authority on the ground is still non-existent. It's still trying to establish itself as a new leadership. There is a lot of political trouble, actually, with the House of Representatives in Tobruk. Until now, there seems to be main points that the Tobruk Parliament cannot really get over, mainly control over the whole military arm of the government and the Libyan National Army, and the extent of legislative influence of that House of Representatives in the new accord government. So things could change, of course, if the government is sanctioned by the House of Representatives. But until then, the Presidential Council is still trying to establish itself as a fair, kind of non-biased political body. And while the General National Congress is trying to cooperate with that Presidential Council, until now, there seems to be no political consensus inside the House of Representatives to pass the new government. And this could only change, actually, by more political pressure on different political actors inside of Libya in order for the government to be sanctioned and to actually practice real power on the ground.
Well, as you put it there, though, that the actual authority on the ground is yet to be felt, that is still absent. But the UN Special Envoy is calling for a speedy transfer of power. What options, though, does the UN and the international powers who are backing the new unity government, what options do they have if the situation does not change?
Well, it's very reasonable for Martin Kobler to actually demand speedy transfer of power, and it's something that the Libyan people as well as the neighbors of Libya would love to see. But due to the political complexities present in Libya over the past 5 years, it's not easy. And what the international community could do is actually develop mechanisms to ensure that this transfer takes place. Well, first of all, sanctions must be imposed by the UN on any political faction inside of Libya that hinders the realization of the agreement. On the other hand, all kinds of international recognition should be directed towards the new unity government and the new Presidential Council. The international community should not be dealing with any authority inside of Libya, whether it be related to oil or related to defense, that is not under the banner of the new unity government. And also, the international community needs to establish some kind of a working group on Libya that is concerned with applying political pressure and making sure that the political accord signed in Morocco is actually implemented. This is not the same function of the UN mission inside of Libya. This is something that should be formed out of different countries that are actually concerned about the status of security and political stability inside of Libya, in addition to the presence of the UN mission in Libya at the moment.
All right, Ziad Akul joining us there from Cairo. Thank you.